Well, g'day everybody, and it's a lot of action here. We've been going flat out for a long time, trying to get everything happening because we had a few boats go around Cape Horn, so we're trying to keep up with that, which we'll talk about. And the Penjuic media came in from Marie and the team there, which is really great. So we try to get that up, and it's fantastic. Great vision there from their team. Heavy weather stuff. One thing I just wanted to point out, which you may not realise if you're speaking English, and you probably are, if you're watching me, I'll slow down, but the translation into English of Marie's words in the Penjuic video is actually in the top title on YouTube. So if you get onto YouTube, just hit that, and where you normally see the comments and so on in the top, where it says more, you hit that and you'll actually see the full transcript, the English translation of what she's saying. It's quite interesting. It's an interesting read. So I'd recommend you do that when you get onto the video. We've got another press release coming out very shortly. It's just being put together now by Jack and Rob and everyone. So that will probably be another hour or so away. This is quite a process, actually, doing the press releases. We got Jack writes the story, I review it, maybe add a few bits and chop things around. Then we've got to select the photos, and then when we got that, we do the easiest way for translation is to do an AI translation first, and then we get it reread by a human. We have a real human there, goes through and just double checks the AI translation. Then Rob gets it together, either Rob or Jane. They alternate, depending on what's happening. They've got to then produce that, put it all into a format which goes on the website. So it's on the website, and then it's also in a format to go to. We have actually just over 18,000 subscribers to the newsletter, which is quite amazing. And that's where another reason we know we're not getting all of our Facebook and YouTube followers to subscribe or like or share and so on, because when you've got 18,000 people getting the newsletter, you know that you've got more than that number on Facebook, but we've only got, I think we've got about 19,000 people on Facebook. So if you haven't liked our Facebook page, please do. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Numbers are building, actually. When I say this, we usually get another 200 or 300 or so. So please subscribe or like the videos or share them, do what you like. So anyway, it takes, that whole process takes hours, so even if you've got breaking news, it can take a long time by the time you get it happening. When we got the Penjuic video, we pushed that out pretty quickly. The team got access to it, but we wanted to get it out as well. So that's what's happening. And there's another one to cover Maid, Neptune, and Spirit of Helsinki going around. We'll go through that in a minute. But the other thing I wanted to do is we've had the Bayanat platform up for a couple of days, but I just wanted to highlight it. It's not the official opening of it yet, but I just want to show you what it is and just give you a very simple walk around. And I'd encourage you to have a play and give us some comments. I will make an opportunity when we officially announce it to give us any comments or suggestions and so on. Now, Bayanat are an Emirates company which were a sponsor or partner with Abolish Tommy in the Golden Globe race, and they did a platform like this covering off on Bayanat's voyage around the world, and it became quite popular. So we've had this plan to get it together, and it's been built for some time, and it's been tweaked and so on, and it's a place where you can go for everything. And I'll bring it up now, and you can I'll bring it up here. If I hit this, you should see the OGR website. Okay, now from there I'm going to walk you through it. So that's the opening page of the website, obviously. And then if you just come down to the magic boxes here, you've got the daily tracker reviews. That's all on file. The daily reports that Brian's doing, the latest news. This takes you direct to the various things. The entrant tweets, you can hit any of those. The SoundCloud calls. So you go through the whole lot. And down here, that's a direct link to the live tracker. That's the program. A lot of the people don't know that program is there, by the way. It's the electronic version as a flick book, so you can flick the pages electronically of the entire program. It's a fantastic read. So if you haven't got a hard copy, we printed about, what was it, about 12,000 or something You can always have the electronic copy here. Now over here is the new one. This is the Bayanat platform. All right. So Bayanat are sponsoring this and supporting us to get it up. It's the first time that I've seen anything like it on any sailing event. All right. It takes a little bit to load. And there's a thing here with the screen size. It's a bit difficult to scroll it up and down, but it looks very, here's the general concept. First of all, over here, you've got Bayanat, OGR, McIntyre Adventure as the underwriter and supporter. You've got some of the statistics over this side, and you've got our scrolling sponsor box here for the various partners that are supporting the event. So you've got 25 days out for leg 3 since the start. So you can see bits. I'm not going to do everything here. I'm just going to show you small bits to give you a feel, and then later on we'll do a full tutorial and get it happening. First of all, you've got the usual tracker here, so you can see you've got the various boats here. If I hit on Triana, you've got all the statistics on Triana. Okay, so that's real-time live, giving you your ranking. IRC second, it's 6th in line on us, 1st in adventure class, gives you the speed, the distance in the last 24 hours, distance 20, you can read it off, distance to the finish, the ETA suggested by the current average speed, the position and time and date and everything. So you can pick that up from any of the boats. Okay, on the side here on the various bars, you've got the history, so you can see all about the what's the OGR. You've got important dates there on various things, and that'll be loaded even more. And then here you've got all the social media, so you can actually go through. It'll actually download here, and you can link to Facebook, you can link to Instagram and Twitter and so on. So that's the sidebars. Then you've got all the various legs here, 1, 2, 3 legs. Here you've got you can explore the course. You can drop in the weather if we want to put in winds or ocean currents or wave height. You can do all that here just by hitting that, and it'll slowly come together. The interesting thing here is that you've got historic weather, so you can go to any part of the course then on leg 1, 2, or 3, and you will be able to get historic weather, so you can look back on it on the track. Okay, you've got various layers that you can do, different ways of looking at the map, depending on what you want. You've got a leaderboard and a scoreboard similar to what we've got on Windy, but on the usual stuff. But the interesting one here is that where are we here? Jeepers. What am I not seeing here? Okay, so I'm learning to drive it as well. If we start scrolling back, okay, you can get everything and anything that's happened historically on the track, right? So you've actually got here, I should have a different thing. You want to get a SoundCloud call. It's not really.
Hello, OGR. Jacqueline speaking.
Okay, so you've got all the various SoundClouds.
Hi, Jake. This is Paul from this video.
I'll turn that off. You can call up any of the boats.
Hello, OGR. Jacqueline speaking.
Yep, so you've got the same thing there. You can actually get the SoundCloud where it was on the course, anywhere along the track. Okay, so that's the first thing. Any of the videos and photos that have been received from the entrants will actually be on the track at the time they sent them. All right, and so it's a one-stop shop. So in other words, you'll be able to ultimately come here and you can just stay on the platform and actually work the whole thing. All right, so photos, videos, SoundClouds, historic weather, any incidents that happen, they'll all actually be there. So it saves you having to move around on the actual website. So anyway, you can get on there and have a play for now, and when we have the official opening, which could be sometime next week, we'll have a proper tutorial so you can get on and it'll give you all the different values and the way you can get the most from it. But at the end of the day, if you can imagine, it has a huge potential. No one's ever done it before. It's quite sophisticated, quite a lot of people. So all the material we produce will be available on that one screen, real time live. So you can just go boom and find it, leg 1, 2, or 3, anywhere. So it's this comprehensive platform where you don't have to go to all the boxes and hit things and go back and forwards. You can do it all from in front of your face right there. So, and to a degree, this is the first time it's been done fully for an event. Everyone's learning. Bayanat have got the whole team. They're a huge company, and we'll give you the background on that later on. They're intelligence gathering company for industrial purposes and commercial purposes. They have their own satellites up there. They're taking everything. They can actually zoom down, and we will probably coordinate to do this during leg 3. We can actually coordinate and bring a satellite over and zoom down and take a picture real-time live of an entrance sailing, okay? The super sophisticated stuff, and it will be a lot of fun. As I say, this is a learning curve for Bayanat. It's a learning curve for us, and if it works, it's going to be fantastic. And there's so many things that can happen, and it's really going to be quite fun. But anyway, it's taken a while to get this far. We're nearly there, and it'd be fun for you to have a look at it and play around with it. It's going to be quite cool. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to the tracker now. If I hit that one there, we should be looking at the tracker. Yes, we are. Now I've got to find my tracker here. Okay. Also with the Bayanat, once we've got it up and it's all settled and everyone knows what's going on, we can actually do some of the daily tracker updates from the Bayanat platform as well. But for now, we carry on. What we've got here. So you can see Maiden got around okay. Spirit of Helsinki are done. And also Neptune. There's a funny story there, which I'll tell you in a minute. It's quite intriguing. And the rear group, the Galliana group, has really stretched out a bit as well. The Spirit of Keep has punched around the outside of all of them, coming in there. And now it's not so much 2 groups, it's like one stretched out group, okay? And bringing up the rear here, and I don't know why, but Sterner is always faster than Explorer. Okay, that's picked up speed. I may be wrong now. The Explorer's been doing 7-something knots. Now it's doing 7.7 and 180 nautical miles. And Sterner is doing, there you go, 8.1. That's not bad. Usually they're a knot faster. But that's probably because they broke their last spinnaker pole. I'm not sure. Sadly, Sterner are down to 0 poles. And you might have read the tweet there. So that's kind of sad for them, but they can still run their kites from the bow, running it like an asymmetric. So it might not be so bad. So Stern has managed to pull out a 195-mile day, Explorer a 180-mile day. So not too bad. They're all around the corner now. Great sailing conditions heading down. We'll come back to the weather in a minute. We're going to have, I've got to slow down. We are going to have to give 3 different weather updates. We'll give you a weather update for the middle group here. And then, of course, we've got Penduic and Translated neck and neck. There was only 8 miles in it before. So let's, while we're here, just have a peek. Penduic's doing 11.4 with 243-mile day, really flying. And they're 928 miles from the finish. Translated 9 is 944. So Penduic's pulled out a bit. 28, so that's 30, so that's 12, 30, 40, 15, 16 miles apart, a distance from the finish, 16 miles in it only. What was it, 12 hours ago, there was 12 miles in it, so Penduic is slowly pulling away. While we're chatting, it was fantastic to see the videos from Penduic. They sent a bit much. They're only meant to send 3 minutes, but we weren't going to cut them out this time. It was 6 minutes of fantastic vision. And you may have noticed that it was interesting. I knew there was a clip of Cape Horn and Penduic going around in 77 during the 77 Whitbread race, and I found that. It's underneath this post. It's well worth a look. Only goes for 10 minutes, but it's fascinating watching Marie's video of Penduic going around Cape Horn today, and then look back, was it 46 years ago, when the late Eric Taberley was sailing around Cape Horn during that Whitbread. The story there was he wasn't an official entry anyway. He'd sailed across the Pacific and joined the race in Auckland. And they sailed away from Auckland, and there was some confusion on their IOR certificate, whether it was valid or not. And 4 days, I think it's about 4 days after the start from Auckland, they received the message that the certificate wasn't valid. So they sent a message on radio saying that Penduic was disqualified from the leg 3 of the Whitbread race, the first leg they'd joined. but they continued sailing anyway, and they were ahead of all the other boats by 2 full days going around Cape Horn in their plastic wet weather gear and their PVC wet weather gear and plastic boots, which apparently created lots of skin rashes and lovely medical issues sitting in plastic all the way around Cape Horn. Anyway, I digress. So we've done Sterner and Explorer. We'll start at the back of the fleet here. Penduic sailing at 7.7, 192 mile day, which is good. We've actually just got their vision in, which we'll put up. There's got a lot of posts today on Facebook, but we do have the onboard vision from Evrika, with all the boys having a ciggy out the back there while they're sailing along, which is quite fun. The same as they were in 1977. Everyone was smoking in 1977. And anyway, that's fun. Well, it's not fun, you should smoke, but anyway, whatever. Outlaw, 9.3, 205 mile day. So that's pretty good. So they're hanging in there. Galliana with Secure, 9.5, a 206 mile day. Really high averages here. And White Shadow, 210 mile day with 9.7 knots. So they're all flying. Solid breezes, they've got 30s gusting 40, 5 meter seas. They'd be loving this because it should be manageable. Bearing in mind, we just got the first report of a proper knockdown, which was experienced by Translated over here when the reported sea state is only like 3.5 to 4 meters. But small seas can be just as dangerous. It all comes down to the shape. So Translated have suffered the knockdown. It's the first reported knockdown they've had. And I was only just saying yesterday to someone, it's amazing. I find it hard to believe that most of the boats have transited, touch wood, the Southern Ocean without being knocked down. It's been very crazy weather and good sailing, of course. So that's part of it. L'Esprit de Keep, 9.6 knots and 214 mile day. Living the dream, sailing around Cape Horn, heading towards Cape Horn in tough conditions. Triana, 9.4 knots, absolutely flying, and 180 mile day. They are absolutely, it's a high average. 9.4 knots is a solid average with the wind not on the, it's after the beam. So they'd be getting beat up a little bit. I should push this up and give you a better look at that. You can see here they've got a northwesterly and they're cutting across it now. I was wondering where they were going previously because they were heading down. There's little islands here, and I'm going to blow it up now to explain this because I won't say we got a fright yesterday, but certainly I was watching the fleet, and there's some islands here, Diego Ramirez Islands here, which are known to have been disastrous for many boats coming towards and around Cape Horn. They forget they're there or whatever it is. Anyway, Maiden was just roaring down, heading straight for the islands, and I watched it and I rang the team and said, hey, we better get onto this. I'm not sure what's going on. I can't think of any reason other than navigation check to go down there, but I was wondering why they were headed down here. And then all of a sudden when they saw the land, and they were so far off when they saw it, I'm sure we've assumed, or certainly I've assumed, it was a navigation check. They knew they were going to go around Cape Horn at night time, and they may not have they didn't have a landfall to confirm their navigation. These are quite high, these islands. So once they did that and tacked away, I thought it could have been a strategic plan by the navigator to proof their navigation before they head up and go around Cape Horn, in the dark. And for whatever reason, up until this one, Triana was heading the same way. They were heading down here, and I thought, that's a strange one. Maybe they saw it something similar and did something similar. I'm not sure, but certainly now they're heading back up to Cape Horn. Now, the biggest mystery of all is Spirit of Helsinki. This is Spirit of Helsinki's track, right? And I'm looking at it and think, and they were, if we go back, they were actually alongside Neptune. Neptune was just behind them coming through here, okay? And then all of a sudden, Ian, who's the navigator maybe, decides to keep going way down. And all I could think of was that they may be, again, not knowing, because they've had clouds for some time, exactly where they are, and they wanted to make sure they weren't going to hit anything over here. Maybe their radar's not working or whatever, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But I thought this is strange because everyone on board is going to be really disappointed that they're not looking at Cape Horn. Anyway, surprise, surprise, all of a sudden, bingo, bingo, they decided, oh, we must be in the wrong position. Let's go up and have a look. And so they quickly changed course and they came roaring up. In fact, they probably kept continuing. That didn't just change course from there to there. They probably kept continuing down to about here somewhere. I'll blow that up. Hang on. I'll blow that up there. You can see what happens here. They probably kept going down here and possibly about there, altered course. And now they've got to come across this heavier weather. They're copping it on the beam. So it'll be very wet, very woolly. But I think they realised that they weren't in the right spot and they needed to come up if they wanted to see it. When you pay your ticket to go around the world via Cape Horn, you certainly want to have a look. So anyway, all of a sudden now they sailed right across here, and Neptune, of course, just kept going. And it was good for them because they snuck through while they came up. So they passed the longitude of Cape Horn down around here. I've got the times there. We've got the official time as 10:45 or something, I think, and then kept going up to have a look. Meanwhile, Neptune comes across and sneaks around the corner, and now they're behind Neptune. And they came to within about 6 miles. Neptune was about 1.5 miles away, I think it was. Maiden was pretty close, very close going through. But they knew where they were, so they would have got a look on radar and things like that. So there was some interesting tactical stuff going on and people doing different things there. So you can see then Neptune, Spirit of Helsinki, pulled away, came up, and Neptune just did beautiful turn around the corner here. They got a good look because it was daylight. Sadly, I don't know what happened with Maiden, what they actually got, whether they saw as a silhouette. I remember when I went round in the night time, I had a moon and in between the clouds, and I did get a look, and it was fantastic. So I hope they saw something there. So Triana are heading across. They're currently they're the next one round. They'll be 42 miles, and they're doing 10 knots, another 4 or 5 hours maybe. They're pretty quick. They've sped up a bit, so 5 hours maybe. And it's now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 9 o'clock. So they're going to go around about 9 o'clock tonight. So that's 2100 hours GMT. I was thinking it was a bit later than that, but they've sped up. So that's all good for them. So Neptune had a great rounding. Be very happy. Doing 8 knots now, coming into some calm weather. I just better check in a sec. I just want to check I'm on the real-time weather now before we go and have a look. Yes, it is. So they're coming. They're going to run out of weather. They're going very tight. They'll probably bear away. They're doing 8 knots, but you're about to see them park because there's no wind in here. Spirit of Helsinki, about the same, 11 knots and 280-mile day. That could be correct, yeah. Anyway, they'll be heading through a stretch of Little Mare here. Maiden's already in the strait, and their speed is showing 10.7. There's huge currents that come through here. And on average, just on average, when there's not big tides, and there's big tides at the moment, on average, it runs at like about 4 knots this way and 4 knots the other way. So you get the luck of the draw. But at 10.7, it's pretty cool. They're doing okay. So 10.7, 299-mile day. Would that be correct? Maybe. It depends. It could be. Anyway, it depends on the track here as well. So anyway, they're all doing pretty well there. And we're about to see the biggest change for them is the sea has dropped right off. But when you go through here, it's just the most amazing thing when you turn the corner. It just completely disappears, and you've been doing it for a month or so, blah blah blah, and you turn the corner, there's nothing, and it just makes you relax. And I was thinking we got the footage late from Penduic, but probably partly because they had to cut it together and get it going, partly also because it's a great sense of relief and you just want to relax and you don't want to think about all that other stuff. So that was probably why it took so long to get here. Anyway, so let's swing back and have a look at what the weather is going to bring now for the future. Everyone else here is beelining straight for Cape Horn, and we'll see them, the first ones through sometime tomorrow, and then all during the day tomorrow. I think we'll split this into 3 parts. Oh no, we can if I get rid of that, we can probably. I don't know. Can I look at it all? No. Okay, I'll come back and we'll talk about each group each day. No, I'm not going to do that. So forget about translated and Penduic for now. We'll just look at the potential weather changes here for the guys and girls heading towards Cape Horn. Okay, so some big winds up here, but anyway, we'll just see. It's still forecasting under 35. So yeah, it's still puffing, but on windy, nothing showing us over 35 knots forecast wind. But in this patch here, for instance, there'd be 31, 32 knots, gusting 40, 45, just as a puff moves through in a matter of hours. Generally, though, it's quite stable for the boats coming in towards Cape Horn. There's nothing of anything, not super extreme. So this is on the 10th. They've already gone around at that stage. They'll be around, and then this is probably a 35, maybe gusting 50 again, but they'll all be around the corner then, so it doesn't really affect them. And for Sterner and Explorer, it's just all good sailing. They'll ride this stuff down. If we just push that forward a bit, you can see I'm just going through faster. There's no surprises till the 12th. They should be around by the 13th. So by then they're down here and it's all good sailing. So in the next few days, there's not a lot happening anywhere there for the fleet. And now we'll just focus here on once they turn the corner. Oh, I need to give you a bit bigger screen. Okay, so I want to go too small to give you the best view. So we'll just look at what's happening here for translated. I'll forget about the rest of it. For translated and Penduic going up. So we're now just rolling it through. You can see there's a northwesterly coming. That'll keep them moving well. They'll be under the center of this high pressure system. So that'll keep them sailing. So that's the first 24 hours. Then it's starting to get a little bit light. They're going to be light reaching conditions. So that's on the 9th, the first day, yeah, light and fluky, and then it's going to be light headwinds. So they're going to slow up for sure. So they've got a session of northwesterly, and then by the time second day, it's going to be light, very light, but headwinds. To give you an idea, they're probably going to do 300 miles in the next couple of days. So they're going to be sitting down and around here somewhere, thinking about which way am I going to do these headwinds. Am I going to go close and cut in shore? And that may be what may be the best option for them. They're probably going to be looking at that. So they'll be forced in towards the coast, and then as it prevails, those headwinds might hold. Yeah, sort of. No, there's a center forming there. So they might get on the other side of that, but it's going to be very light. It'll be light and slow. Very light and slow coming in. There's the 11th. There's not much on the coast at all. That's going to slow them up for sure. Then there's a puff coming up from the south on the 12th, which might blow them in, but I think it'll be more like the 15th rather than the 14th. But a bit hard to call. Certainly down the bottom here, that was a big push that went across. So let's see as well what's going on here, just to imagine it for Spirit of Helsinki and Maiden, who have just turned the corner. I'll just roll this through. There goes the 8th. They'll be behind that bigger stuff. They'll have nice sailing. There's a nice westerly coming out. So this is through on the 9th. And then on the 10th, they're still sailing pretty well, but it's getting on the nose. It might push them straight into the Falklands. They might not be able to get around there. That would be interesting. That could give them some challenges. And then there's no wind. And then there's more headwinds until we get through to the 11th. It's 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th in 3 days. So they're going to get squeezed there because in 3 days, it's only 200 miles. So they're going to get squeezed up against the Falklands. So they might just get the other side and then ride this up. But there's some challenges ahead, not big wind challenges, just sailing technical challenges. So that's really that one. Let's have a look at the leaderboard here. If we come up a little bit. So Lion Honours is as you see it. There's nothing in it for translated Penduic. Then Maiden is a little bit behind, another day or so behind. But Neptune, Spirit of Helsinki. Neptune snuck in around Spirit, going south. And then Triana, the Spirit of Kip, and so on. So IRC, this is the big one. So now, IRC, it's going to be hard because translated and Penduic are covering each other now. They're so close, as long as they probably won't be talking to each other on the radio. So maybe their positions are confusing. They may not know exactly where they are, but there's no question they're sort of covering each other. So if it's going to be very hard for either one to get a break. Depends, depends on a few things, but that would suggest that translated 33 days 17, 35 14, 3, 4, 5, 2 days in it. This translated are 2 days ahead, a good 2 days. Remembering she's going to get a 3-day time penalty when she gets to. That's Triana. Okay, so Penduic is okay. It's nearly 3 days ahead from Penduic. But Triana is doing really well. So Triana's 2 days behind translated. So Neptune then really close, only 3 hours. No, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 hours. Is that right? I can't count. I'm trying to think and count at the same time. I'm not a girl. I can't double multitask. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 hours. Not bad. So... and then there's Maiden, another half a day behind that. So then Galliana with Secure, White Shadow, Spirit of Helsinki. That's enough of me talking. Let's just get back here now and we'll see how people are doing with all that talking. So, but yeah, looking good. Some great vision and bits and pieces to look at. So enjoy all of that. And we'll got so much going on there. But anyway, we'll put the other material up and you'll see another press release soon. Hi, Peter. What's the scoop on Stern? Or is she slipping behind a little or holding her own? She's certainly holding her own against that really super hot, fast boat called Explorer. She keeps pulling away. She's about 230 miles in front of Explorer. And she only had left a day before, so she has actually pulled away. And they're about 800 miles or something now behind Evrika and the rest of the fleet. So 800, and that means it's 1,000 for Explorer. So that's at least 6 days behind the fleet. So they'll still get in time for the restart. Don't worry about that. But Stern is sailing well, but having lost their spinnaker pole now, that was the last one. That may slow them up a bit. Hard to say. Kathleen, Alvin, Cape Town. Yeah, fantastic leg so far. Clara checked out Bayanat platform yesterday, discovered all the information on it, both the actual leg and also from previous legs. Very interesting to finally in one place. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm going to leave the tutorial until people have had a bit of a play with it anyway, look around what's going on, and then we'll get into it. We'll establish one. But so it's not the official grand opening yet, but it's the time to play around with it. John Pinto played the historical weather. Only problem is it didn't have a way to stop it, pause it once you started running. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, we'll be following feedback as well on that. What we'll do is we'll make a picture post of the Bayanat platform, and after you've had a play with it, you can come in and give us all your comments and feedback and all that sort of stuff. So we've got a bit of time to absorb all those and include all those comments in the suggestions, so that by the time we get onto the last leg, which will become much more tactical with the weather and things like that, it should all be up and running and looking really cool. And it's groundbreaking. We'll announce this to the world once it's happening, because I don't think anyone's ever done this before in a platform, in an event, and you can be sure that they'll all look to copy it. And Bayanat, to their credit, they will later on. They've cut us a deal. They're actually supporting us with it. They're giving us a little bit of sponsorship. But once they've developed this and fine-tune it and so on, they'll be able to offer that to other events as well, which is a potential change. Because as I say, the company is massive, it's huge, and they can do anything they want. They have ships on the water, they have satellites in the sky, they do all this stuff. They collect data and then sell that data to industry and so on for use in all sorts of things. So they'll probably try and give us some demos on some fascinating little things in the last leg. So we're very happy to have Bayanat on board with this. It's going to be quite interesting. Johnny, morning, John. Good day. Sorry about the new technology coming. Yeah, it's going to be quite sophisticated, but it should be simple to use, and it keeps it all under the one roof, which is really good. Good day, Elaine. Good evening, Don. What an amazing leg. Yep, been fun watching from the UK. Make sure you see the videos coming off the boats. Okay. Healers and Navigator on Spirit of Helsinki. There you go. Okay, so that's all good and all kind of fun. I'm getting a lot of comments and questions. We had hoped to get the notice of race up for 27 OGR. More and more people say, where is it? Where is it? It's coming. We've just been so busy. I've done nothing today on it. I've been flat out with everything else. So the notice of race for OGR 2027 is coming. You probably saw, I shouldn't have done that because a good friend of mine, as soon as I put the Baltic 51 up, it was like, what'd you do that for? That's a perfect boat. I might want to buy it. Yeah, I might make it a weekly feature where once a week I'll find a potentially a good OGR 2027 boat to buy and put your team together and go do it, you know. When I saw that one, I found some others. There's some Baltic. There's some good boats out there. There's another. There's some Grand Soleil 53s, 52s, which are actually 53 feet long, and I found a pretty nice Nicholson 55, and others. So one of the hot ones to get for IRC, of course, is the cheapest Oyster 48 center cockpit. Hot boat, baby. If you want to win on IRC, go have a look at it. Oyster 48. Oyster, what do they call them? There's a particular model. It goes back. It's approved in the list in the notice of race, but there's one particular red one, a hot boat that keeps cleaning up in IRC everywhere. They're very good sailors. They've optimized the boat. They've got fantastic sails. And could you do it going around the world? I think you could. Sometimes smaller boats have got better legs for IRC. Look at Triana, for instance. Good sailors, good sails, prep the boat pretty well, sailing really hard, and they're right up there. And I reckon and I'm not an IRC sailor, and I'm certainly not a competitive sailor, but everything I'm reading is suggesting that boat might be the hottest IRC boat to win the 2027 OGA. You just got to find one for sale because they didn't build a lot of them, but it's the Oyster 48. It's a center cockpit boat. Anyway, enough of that. So we'll, I think that's everything. See you later. I'll press the right finish button now, and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, that